Thank you to Chef for their generous donation as a YouTube member. Hello everyone, my name is Vivian, and happy 5-iversary. Today, I'm recording this, and the plan is to get this out on the same day because I'm going to be doing minimal editing on this, hopefully. This is February 5th, 2022. 5 years ago to this day, it would be February 5th, 2017. Would be the first episode of Repeat, which is the first video of my visual novel stint on YouTube. Now, this is not including Amorous, and this is going to be the theme of today's video. A little jaunt through my history of what I have done in the past 5 years, just a little unfiltered, just walk through nostalgia. I'm going to try to rein in the rambling just a little bit, but I'm going to just step by step walk through, not step by step because that would imply some form of linearity. I'm just going to go through. As you can see, I've pulled up my playlists. I attempt to keep a pretty extensive list of playlists of all the stuff I've done so that people can go through and, oh, that game, that story, what the fuck, they played that, and then just go through. And if it goes for a long time, I try to separate them out by characters. And, oh, Flynn, I like that route. Or Philip, they got a route, cool. You know, that type of thing. So I'm just going to try to do that in the order in which they were organized by YouTube, because this is the best I could get. But to address the elephant in the room, Amorous, that is not a visual novel, and I was so repulsed to that. Not only did I remove that from my channel, but I don't even count it as the beginning. I don't have a hard date on when it started, so not only could I not include it in the anniversary, but I don't want to. So I don't have to. So it's not there. So yes, today's episode of Repeat that is going out, which will go out probably as I'm recording this at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, is a re-edited version of, oh God, where is it? It's a re-edited version of episode freaking 35 as part of the re-edits, where Sissel's Part A finale before the reset happens. It's kind of a symbol of sorts. I wanted to make sure that came out that day. And later on in the month, on February 11th, when the first episode of Extracurricular Activities came out, that's also an episode of Extracurricular Activities, episode 99 part 2, where Dozer and the main character are talking about sharing their dreams together. That's also very thematic of sorts. And those two episodes are coming out on those days very much on purpose, not only to celebrate the dates themselves, but also the themes of those episodes. Thank you, Spoof, for creating more noise than there already is. But yes, so also really quick to address the amount of re-edits. I know they're cumbersome, but there's only a few more left. According to the little sheet of doom, I've only got 30 streams left to do. Unfortunately, they're the longest ones, which means there's multiple parts left to do, because I want to get them in a palatable length. What I consider to be a palatable length in terms of videos is, unless it's like a super consequential episode, like the big tennis battle, like in Tennis Ace, that one is still like an hour and 13 minutes long. But otherwise, I want to keep it capped at like an hour at most. Generally, I want to keep it lesser. If it's above 10 minutes, that's pretty much as low as I'm willing to go. Hi, Spoofy. How you doing? But otherwise, No, spoof, you diva, you can't crawl up on the table. I don't know what he's trying to do. He tried to crawl up on the table. He's never tried to do that before. I think it's because I'm wearing this shawl. I got this shawl, and he likes the shawl. It's very soft. I don't blame him. But anyway, having re-edited a lot of these episodes, I've become re-interested in a lot of these games that I haven't played in a long time. So I hope to be able to replay them because of this renewed interest. So without further ado, let's look at some of these. These are some of the episodes that have yet to come out, so you get to kind of see what's coming up for putting up with all that. It's an anniversary, so hopefully you can indulge me a little bit. I know this probably won't do the greatest, but I appreciate it nonetheless. I keep a playlist, try to keep it, of the top 10 most viewed, and for the most part... Oh, no, I don't want you to do that. So let's try to... No, and I don't want you to do that. So can we try to figure out what part of it to click so it does this? There we go. All of it except one video is a visual novel. I've been doing YouTube videos, as some of you may know, since before YouTube. So I guess the more accurate statement is I've been making videos as a pastime, very amateurish, since I had access to a webcam, a very bad webcam, and a very bad microphone, and Windows Movie Maker. And I would post, before I could even post them anywhere, I would email them if I could, or just hope that someone was over on the computer so that I could share them, just play them while they were there in person. But that started in like 2003. It wasn't until, YouTube came along and the idea of YouTubers came along that I actually tried to, try to grow an audience with it. And that would be somewhere around 2007, 2008, 2009. And so the idea that I didn't actually start to grow an audience until 2017, and that didn't even really start until mid 2017. 2018 is when things really started to hit their stride. That's it can tell a story that way. The way I prefer to hear that story is that I almost quit, but then at the last moment, I tried something, and y'all showed up, hard. And this is a very old video, and already, a lot of these are sexual in nature, but not all of them. A lot of these are just the first episode of something. 4 of them are debut episodes. I'm encouraged by that. So let's start looking at these. Let's start with the one-offs because these are very quick. God damn it. I don't know what to click on. Camo Coliseum. This game has gotten shit on by me unfairly because I got a version that was supposed to have an English patch but didn't. And so I didn't know what I was doing, and then I had to, for various reasons, re-edit the video before the recent scourge of re-edits several times. And so I have gotten artificially sick to death of this fucking game. And so I just have no desire to play it, like, ever again. And it's unfortunate, because I have been told that there is a good game underneath all of the artificial walls that I have. But it's going to take some time, curiosity, and proof for me to ever want to play the game again. And I am 100% willing to say it has nothing to do with the game itself that I have this opinion. I'm sorry. I'm going to take my pills later, so let me pull those aside. Sorry about that. A little bit of behind the scenes action here. What's the next one? Super Fuzzy Beach Dater? Was that a visual novel? I honestly don't even remember. I mainly just remember the fact that it's gone now. It got canceled, didn't it? That's all I remember. There you go. That's all I remember. Monster Hunting for Love, that recently got re-edited. That video has not been released. I might actually have to go back and do more because I didn't remember how charming the other characters were. I did not remember that, so I might want to do that again. I don't think it'd count. No, that's not a visual novel. It's not. Eternal Eclipse. This game, I got to it way too early. Way too early. I think I tried my best to say so in my review of it. It wasn't so much a review, it was gameplay. But when I was talking about it, I tried my best to talk about it as if I were talking about something that clearly needs like years more development before I could talk about it fairly. But between the art, the writing, and the theme of the story being a meld of mental illness and demonic possession, I just felt like it had a lot of growing up to do. And fair play to the dev, they took it like a fucking champ. Like, I have said way less shit about certain visual novels that will not be mentioned on this video because the videos are gone now. And they took it way worse. I have said harsher stuff about this game, and they were just like, thank you for the feedback. I know I've got more work to do, and I hope that once I've worked harder on it, and these are the changes I plan on making, and I hope that once I plan on making them, and I'll let you know when I have, that you'll be able to come back to in the future, and thank you for playing. I was like, damn, that's a good-ass dev. So yeah, abso-fucking-lutely I plan on coming back to that. That dev impressed the shit out of me. Absolutely. And I don't know them. I wouldn't be able to spot them in a crowd of people, but as soon as I'm like able to spot like I could spot them like from their Twitter bio, like dev of Eternal Eclipse, I'm like high five them through the internet. Like they fucking earned their internet points that day. They earned my respect, like legit respect from that. I don't know anything about them as a person other than that, but that was awesome. Fucking awesome. Run Kitty, a very pretty demo, a little shallow on the content, but very pretty. I could see being a cute romance game. I just played a demo. I don't know if a full game is out. But if it is and I have to pay for it, I probably wouldn't buy it. Just because I don't know. There's so much free stuff out there that I don't know. That's just a me personally thing. That's not me recommending anything. Maybe I will one day, or I don't know. Who knows? What else? Once more, I mean, the title is This Did Not Go Well, so I'm imagining that. I'm just realizing these two thumbnails right next to each other is eerie. They're very similar. What I remember from Once More is kind of not good voice acting, and what was trying to be an interesting premise, but didn't quite pull it off. And in no way do I really feel like coming back to it. Starry Chain, there's some stuff going on behind the scenes with this, and I don't know if I want to talk about. everything I'm going to say about it is irrespective of that. And I'm kind of fuzzy on the details on that. What I will say is that there were some concerns I had about like some of the literal nuts and bolts of the writing, but there was some aspects of the overall story that were very interesting. And I would be interested in looking at it more after it's had a bit more polish. Sakura Angels, as soon as I played it, I was like, oh wow, this game really is what people are saying it is. And then everyone in my personal life was like, wow, you're really doing that, huh? And I was like, what the fuck does that mean? And they're like, you know what it is, right? And I was like, it is what they say it is? And they're like, yes. And I was like, well, never mind. And so I never came back to it. Dream Daddies, that's not a visual novel. That's a dating sim. Oh. So yeah, it's still in the playlist. So let's get you out of here. I don't want to clutter up the playlist with the same stuff over and over again. The IDEKA 2015 Halloween special, which for some reason is not in this playlist already. Weird. This is a visual novel, which almost entirely relies on you knowing about IDEKA already, which I don't. Sorry. Yeah, it's kind of it has a number of chuckles that you can enjoy without it, but like there's so many things that reek of this would be way fucking funnier or ironic if you knew these fucking characters, which I don't. And it's just kind of like, oh, I wish I knew what I was reading. And then I already read Monster Hunter Love. Okay, so that's the one-offs playlist. Repeat, the one that started it all. Repeat was a hell of a way to start. And I'm going to try to keep these short because Lord knows I could talk about these forever. Repeat was just the right amount of not too serious at the beginning. And it was, and Shirokoi will say this, it was rough at the beginning. Like the sprites were very early on. He's going through right now and reworking a lot of the sprites. And also, fuck you if you're one of these people who are like, you're turning your back on the things that fucking whatever because you're changing the sprites. And fuck you. Let an artist do their art. Let a writer tell their story. That's their shit. Like, fuck. Stop fucking, like, Christ. Fucking hell. No. So, Repeat was a very good way to start because the beginning is simple and has just enough, like, what the fuck was that? Kind of like, whoa, you're like, you know, a little bit of something's going on. Some shit is enough to pull you in. And as you go through the story, there's enough stuff to criticize because it is not perfect. It is not it's not the greatest visual novel of all time. It's very engaging. I love it. I can't address a hypothetical of if I would love it if I came across it as my, if I came across it now versus if I came across it later. Granted, if I came across it now, I can't guarantee if I would have came across it as if I had came across it at all. Because would I have been able to get to all the other ones? Because otherwise, it's my gateway visual novel. This and Extracurricular Activities are my gateway visual novels. Because Repeat and Extracurricular Activities, right after that's Morinatsu. And that did not leave a good first impression. But anyway, staying with Repeat. Its story is enough of a mindfuck mixed with enough of real life drama. And I love that personally. So, long story short, it has just enough problems to give the critic brain in me enough to chew on. It has enough drama to make my heart melt. It has enough horniness to to keep that part of me going too. And it has enough heart in it to really make me just love it. It is just enough of everything to make me love everything. And I will never claim it to be perfect, but it was probably the perfect one for me to start with. And I couldn't be more grateful for those who recommended it to me at just the right time. Now, extracurricular activities. I'd be remiss if I didn't say happy 5-year anniversary to repeat on the 5-year anniversary for repeat. But yeah, extracurricular activities. And no, I will not be doing a version of this exact thing in like a week. Extracurricular activities. I am still catching up with this game. I don't know if I've ever been able to put this game on part-time status. Have I? I have never caught up with this game. Ever. And granted, I know, like, these 5 years, I've spent half of this shit on hiatus. So, like, maybe I should spend half of this video on hiatus, but, like, just to be thematic. But this game has so much content. And it does not shy away from the horniness of the fandom, but it also does not shy away from getting fucking real out of goddamn nowhere. Every route addresses so many realistic themes and realistic fucking just it will punch you in the fucking gut out of nowhere, seemingly for no reason, but then it reminds you, oh yeah, you got caught up in the fact that you're dating, like, a furry, like, husbando? Did you forget this motherfucker has an abusive ex-wife? Or that this guy was abused by his like, this guy that was on his campus? Did you forget about his abusive ex-father? What about all this other shit from his past? Did you forget about that shit? Well, I didn't. And you're not gonna now, because it's coming back and it's in your fucking face. And this is why it's important. This is why you care about these people. This is why these are characters and not slabs of meat for you to fucking drool over. You can drool over them, that's fine, but these are why you love them. This is not why you just lust over them. This is why you love them. And that's what this is. This is a game that you love. This is not a game that you just lust over. And yeah, I've gotten shit because you go through the playlist and it's just meat man. I remember there was a video where Fabulous Aura asked a bunch of people close to him to roast him, and he didn't tell us that he was going to roast us back. And I gave him shit for making videos that were all about porn videos. And he does. I never said that I don't. But he makes videos that are, like, explicitly, like, Pokey Breeder and Hero Kami. I've never played that shit. But, like, I'd like to think that I play games that have a little more focus to the plot than he does. But I'm not saying he doesn't play plot games. I'm just saying if there's a gradient, he's a little more closer to the porn game, at least on one of his channels. But he showed, just scrolling down the extracurricular activities fucking playlist, and it was just Harold fucking, and I was like, well, that's a straw man, but what the fuck can I say? If he never watched the fucking series, he wouldn't know. And but anyway, the actual game itself is a fucking lot of emotions, and fuck. Going back and watching those early episodes when I wasn't taking it seriously either, I spent so much, I didn't take it seriously, and then when I started to care and I realized that I was being a dick, and I realized that Shirokoi was being nice to me, Dine Wolf wasn't saying shit to me, I was like, oh no, I pissed him off. Turns out, no, Lovely Parasite pissed him off, but I was just... I was getting lumped in. Oh god. Fortunately, everything's fine now. Everything's cool between me and him specifically, and but it took 100 episodes. I had to prove I wasn't just taking the piss. But no, everything's cool, and I'm so happy, and it's been well worth it. And eventually, I honestly think the game will be finished before I get to the point where I catch up with this game. He will be done before I get to the point where I catch him. Especially if I keep up with these re-edits. Holy shit. But, you know, it's circumstantial. It's circumstantial. I'm not just dodging things. But anyway, right after that, I had tackled Morinatsu, and this appears to be in order of playlists created, because the first one is favorites. It might not be exact, but I don't know. This is what YouTube put them in. I did not put these in this order. Technically, I don't know. But Morinatsu, this was not a good third step. Because this is a game that a lot of people have a lot of blind fucking nostalgia for, and I have no love for that. For that game specifically. I have blind nostalgia for stuff, that's fine. But I try to deconstruct it after a while, because there's some stuff that I used to blindly love that is just not good. And if I'm confronted about it, I will... More often than not, I attempt to deconstruct it. Sometimes I fail. A lot of times, when people were forced to confront the fact that that game is not good, people failed that. And I was hit in the fucking face with it. Around that same time, I also was trying to be a little more loose about extracurricular activities. And so that was the first time I almost quit the visual novel sphere and YouTube entirely. Because the Morinatsu backlash and me being loose with extracurricular activities, specifically a Macho Man voice for Spencer, because I wasn't taking it seriously. And yeah, Macho Man voice for Spencer. That was a bad call. But because it would not have worked for carrying it through the rest of the game. But like... the amount of vitriol I received was not proportional to the action that I took. I was done dirty. I'm not saying what I did was the right thing to do, but I was done wrong in those moments. But as far as Morinatsu is concerned, given the amount of times I've gone back to the game in other versions, I'm willing to admit there's something there that is good enough to do something with. But that version and that with those themes, there are a lot of very problematic problems. And also, as most problematic things are, and also the overall construction of it, and it's just not good. Not good. Moving on. Blackgate. I was very intrigued by it. Very different presentation to the stuff I had seen before. Very different themes than what I had seen prior. And then very quickly, once I caught up to the updates, there was something, a problem. There was a mess with, there was something amiss, I should say, with the length of the updates. It seemed like all of the momentum had gone out of the story. It seemed like we were in a rush to get somewhere, and then all of a sudden we weren't going anywhere. I also felt like every character had a route that was not done at all. And then I kept hearing conflict and controversies and a whole bunch of stuff, and so I took a step back. And then I kept asking people, like, is everything cool with Blackgate now? And then all I kept hearing was that the game was dead. But I keep getting update emails from the Blackgate patron like, oh, new update. And then everyone keeps telling me that the game's dead, but I keep getting update emails. I haven't looked at them, so I don't know what the fuck to do. So y'all tell me, please, for the 3 of you that have watched to this point, please comment. What the fuck is going on with Blackgate? What do you want me to do? Do you want me to go back to Blackgate and see what's going on with it? If I upload a Blackgate episode, am I going to be accused of promoting a fraud, or are people going to be like, oh, thank Christ, I thought this game was dead. I'm glad to see it back. I don't know. Let me know. Fuck. Major Minor was an interesting one because it also had a very different presentation. It looked so much more polished than everything else. It looked like it could have been made for like a PlayStation 3 almost, which at the time was like the biggest compliment I could give something, because I've never caught up with consoles. But like, it looked very, very well polished, despite the fact that it had static sprites. And I was very impressed with the overall story and the presentation, and it was a complete game, which up until that point, I hadn't played one. Every visual novel I had played up until that point was either incomplete or abandoned. The fact that there was completed visual novels had eluded me. Like, logically, I figured there were some. And I knew the existence, I think, at this point of, Katawa Shoujo. I knew that one existed. And I knew that completed visual novels existed. That just logically, I knew that. But, like, I hadn't played any. So to see one that had not only the essence of, we've not only finished the story, but we've gone back and polished up all of the beginning of development art and the stuff that happens, progression of time, and all of the polish. It just felt nice. And I like the story. I like everything. I just feel like now, ironically, it could do with a remaster with new sprites and multiple sprites, and with possibly an extension, with multiple goings through of the worlds. I don't know. For some reason, I feel like there was a huge disconnect, or I don't know. Something about looking back on it feels muted. Maybe it was because it was so long ago. I don't know. But my overall impression is that I liked it. I don't know. Angels with Scaly Wings. I only did 13 videos on it. Jeez. But, yeah, Angels with Scaly Wings. This one had a rough time of it for me because I just didn't care. Like, the art was rough for me, and it struggled with relatability for me because it felt like every character was acting so unnaturally, and nobody was talking in a way that felt natural. No one acted naturally, no one talked naturally, no one felt natural, and the dialogue went on forever, the narration went on forever. The timeline didn't go cohesively. I don't know. It just felt like nothing went in a way that made sense to me. And then at the end of it all, it didn't work. I don't know. The person we were trying to get with died. And then people just kept asking me to play it again. I was like, what did you enjoy? I didn't enjoy any of that. It baffled me that people wanted me to play it more. And it was maybe, I don't know. I don't know. And there was a heartwarming story about, like, the devs doing something nice for a fan. I don't remember the story. I'm not trying to demean the story. It was a genuinely very heartwarming story. I just do not remember it right now, but So I wanted to do right by the game because there was something very heartwarming at the center of it. But, like, fuck, man. I just did not enjoy it. Stuff went on too long. Didn't make sense to me. The pacing was off. Nothing felt natural. I just didn't enjoy it. I'm sorry. Speaking of unnatural, Lagoon Lounge. I'm going to talk about the whole series all at once so I don't have to keep harping on it because the whole series has this problem. It's problematic as shit. There is so much shit in this game that... And I got people saying it's because of a cultural difference or because of a time difference, like because it came out in a different decade or whatever. I don't fucking care. There was stuff going on with people who were underage. No. There was stuff going on with people without their consent. No. There was stuff going on with people who were being manipulated. No. There's stuff going on with people there were huge power differentials. No. There's just no. And that's just some of it. And then the fact that, like, the main character was just an absolute fucking ass and the plot made no fucking sense and everyone was a fucking tool and it's a shit series. Translated horribly, and I want to be very clear because this got me into my first bed of hot water and drama in the community because I remember saying it was one of these where I said that I think I said the translator was bad. Or like the translator was shit. I think I said that because I say the word shit very liberally. But what I should have said was that the translation was bad. Because it is. And they did a whole remake. They're doing a remake. I don't know if it's done now. I don't know. And I have no idea if they addressed the problematic fucking themes, if they took out the stuff with the minors and the non-consensual. There's no such thing as non-consensual sex. That's rape. Non-consensual sex is a fucking myth perpetuated by rapists, you fucking asshole. But anyway, I don't know if they addressed any of that shit. I don't know. All I know is I was so happy when a Lagoon Lounge episode was knocked out of my top 10 most viewed because I have multiple times considered taking the Lagoon Lounge episodes off of my channel just because they make me so fucking uncomfortable. Same with the original Morinatsu because it includes the Shun stuff. Because it's to do with it. God. I know there's a cultural difference. But I'm not of that culture. I'm here. I'm raised in my culture. I'm presenting media in my culture. And my moral center is based of my culture. I do not respect that aspect of any other culture that includes forcing any sexual content to include minors. I don't respect that. And I don't have to. So, yeah, don't be surprised if one day the Lagoon Lounge series and the original Morinatsu series just fucking disappears from my channel. Because that's how I think about it. I cannot preclude, I shouldn't use that word because I'm not 100% on the definition of it, but I cannot remove those themes from my image of those games. I know there's other stuff. That's not what the games are about. But it includes them. I can't remove it. I cannot remove those themes from my impression of those games. So, don't be surprised if they just disappear one day. Anyway, Echo. The next big blockbuster. There was a fucking dearth for a while. But Echo. oft requested. That the first Echo Project game took a while for me to get to. Obviously, I mean, this sat atop my favorite visual novel spot for so fucking long for a reason. It is, I mean, I've said before in this very video even. Sorry, I'm flustered right now. I love it when fantasy melds with reality, and this game does that. And in horror, which again I hadn't played, other than if you include Blackgate, obviously, but like there's it's a different form. With Blackgate, it was an overwhelming sense of an inclusion of it. Like there was no it's gonna get you. It was you're there. Like you were in horror. I'm saying horror like that because I used to say horror, and everyone is in horror, WHORE, whatever, but in horror. But no, in here, it felt like the town was gonna get you, and every time you saw the days getting closer to Saturday, you were like, oh fuck me. Obviously, just this game does almost everything right. Like, if you go into it thinking that you're going to be dating someone, like, there's elements of it, but the people who are trying to get this game to be a dating sim are the people who simp hardest for the characters and complain the hardest when they don't get what they want. And those are the people who are doing it wrong, quite frankly. These are the people who still think that Chase and Leo can be a couple, and those people are wrong. But I've ranted on that enough. Point is, it's still one of my favorite of all time, and I absolutely adore it, and it will haunt me forever. And I think that's what good horror does. Horror. Skip that. Nekajishi. A kind of interesting game that fucks you at the end. Depending on the version you play, somewhat literally. That ending. I played the Steam version, so it was just a forced kiss, which is still not, no. I say just, but still very no. But apparently in another version, it is way fucking worse. And apparently the devs were still not cool with it, but I don't know. Even before that, it was the theme. It's an okay story. The theme of a student in a culture that's trying to emphasize pursuing tradition versus pursuing pursuing altruism versus pursuing an inner goal versus being corrupted by a secret. It's a light novel with bigger themes, with a coat of furry paint. It's light with a fucking ending that just sucks the life out of all of it. It's fine if you don't think about it too much, but yeah, no, that ending really fucks it up. It wasn't much to begin with, and it just, Morinatsu Revisited was an idea that will later be done better. And I'll talk about that right now, actually. Let's just talk about it now. Homecoming Morinatsu Revisited is what Morinatsu Revisited was going to be before they decided, fuck, man, the files are too big trying to include all the original assets. Let's just do the assets better. And yeah, there was all the jokes about Torihiko's hips. I don't fucking care. I like the new assets. And yeah, personal preferences being what they are. Whatever. Let an artist tell their story. And here's the thing. You're allowed to say that you like a thing and you don't like a thing. What you don't fucking do is say, you're destroying the blood and you fucking deserve to die. And no. that's when you fucking need to log off the internet forever. Just no, fuck off with that shit. Trying to take an established property that people love out of nostalgia pretty much alone, and they won't say that. They won't say that. Sometimes they will, but then they'll still act like it's more than that. But trying to do that and then turn it into something that's more palatable, something that's more digestible, makes more sense. That is almost an impossible task and something that is guaranteed to get you shit on forever. And I know they knew that would happen. And the fact that they still did it because of their love for the IP is commendable. It's commendable, damn it. And I commend them for it, and that's why I support them, and I genuinely believe they have done better things for Morinatsu than the original people ever did. And I look forward to revisiting Homecoming Morinatsu Revisited. I look forward to it. So everyone can shut the fuck up about how they're destroying the... What? Shut up. Get over it, goddammit. Even the original devs didn't fucking like it enough to continue. At least these people like it enough to do it. So maybe support the people that like it enough to do it instead of the people that abandoned the shit. Huh? Huh? Fuck off. The Pirate's Fate. Interesting concept where it changes you the choices you make change you entirely throughout the story. And you can play it so many different ways every single time throughout your story. Because of this, the mechanic almost becomes more interesting than the story. But what fucked me up mostly was the fact that it wasn't on Ren'Py. The engine made it very difficult for me to play. This wouldn't fuck me up too much now because I have OBS, which kind of changes things. So maybe I can replay it now? Who knows, actually? That's a good point. I might redo that. But anyway, so yeah, it's quite interesting. A rare sojourn back into the world of voice acting. But yeah, the thing I remember most was that this was the first game to really explore the extremely huge fat person representation in a visual novel. Which, considering I have huge body image issues for myself, actually made me a little uncomfortable. But that's a personal issue, not anything against the game itself. The game itself had a lot of interesting themes that I feel like are best explored over multiple playthroughs that unfortunately I have not done yet. Panzer Hearts, that was a weird one. Because it's alternate history of a war based off of geographical differences that are not at all explored in the game itself. You have to learn about why these things happen before you play them, and then you realize why things are different in order to realize why it's not sympathizing for evil people. It's fucking weird. It's very strange, but yeah. It also is very short, and it tiptoed to the point of having sexual content. It got so close, but it was just very cool to have such support from the devs to talk to me about it. And the behind-the-scenes content from the devs, like, their YouTube channel was so much, like, I don't want to say it, but, like, their behind-the-scenes content was more interesting than the game. Like, really. It really was. Like, I don't know. It's just, yeah, it's weird. Oh, man, Tennis Ace happened then? Wow. And speaking of a game that I almost never catch up to, I've caught up to it a couple of times. But, man, that's one thing about the re-edits, is that it helps me not be caught up to these games anymore. It gives me that chase again. But Tennis Ace is a game that I hate to say this, but this game is not aging well for me. And it's weird because in the re-edits, I'm finding myself, when this game is doing something, right? When it's like doing an event or something like the tennis match or I don't know, something like that, I'm invested and I want to see more, and I won't even be like doing all my tricks to help me get through editing more without my attention span tricks that, you know, it helps me get through things. But when it's just dialogue and it's just the friends dogpiling and being mean to each other, it's so hard to sit through that because it just feels hurtful and unnatural. And it, you know, it's the phrase, with friends like these, who needs enemies? The friend group of Keisuke, Shuichi, Saya, Jun, and the main character, Yuichi, these are people who are genuinely hurtful to each other. And I know there's the, you know, the playful banter, playfully, jokingly being mean, but like, I don't know. Maybe it's due to the cultural difference, the language barrier, all these other things, me being a big pansy. I don't fucking know. But there are a lot of times where I just grow weary of it. Of those scenes in particular. I don't know. But otherwise, you can literally see in a thumbnail of Keisuke sobbing over laundry. And it's those scenes that make me like, I love this goddamn game. Like, like this game will just out of nowhere throw a fucking haymaker at me. I'm just like, I love this game. And it's just out of nowhere, they'll throw something emotional at you that'll just grab you, or it'll build up some theme or something hugely gripping, or it's when the game is slow that it's at its worst. It's when it's building up to something or it has some huge character beat, and it does this character beats and story beats so fucking well. It's incredible when Shuichi sees his mom again, or when fucking Jun has the car moment, or the concert moments, or when Keisuke is dealing with his family, or all these fucking moments. Those are incredible fucking moments. But when they're sitting in school, or when all the extra NPC fucking characters show up, I couldn't care fucking less about those fucking characters. Or when they're all sitting around at lunch, I know they're supposed to serve the characters and set up character beats later, but like, I don't like those moments. Stuff needs to be ironed out in those moments. That's all I'm saying. Regal Tales. Development Hell, the visual novel. I really like this game, but fuck me if it feels like I have tried so many times. First of all, the artist of that game, Jerry, it's hard for me not to think that game is one of, if not the most beautiful fucking visual novel ever. I mean, look at the fucking art right there. It looks like it shit belongs in a fucking museum, for God's sakes. But, and it's animated. God damn it. But, I don't know. It's had to redo itself so many times, and I think it's on the right track right now. I just don't know what's going on with it. it's a really interesting story. I want to know what's going on with it. There's been flashbacks, there's been dreams, there's been all at the beginning, which makes it hard to establish what's happening. And if there's confusion right at the beginning, it's hard to get invested. And that's kind of where I'm at with it right now. Winds of Change, kind of a similar thing. There is, every time a character is introduced, and they've introduced a lot of goddamn characters really fucking fast, they have huge over-bloated dialogue trees that make it so over encumbered getting to know people. Once I get past that, I'm fairly certain that I'll be able to like digest more story, but like it's like swallowing the meatballs whole before I'm able to start chewing on spaghetti. You know what I mean? Did that make any sense? I don't know. But it's interesting enough to make me want to go back and play it. I just hope to Christ I'm able to start eating some spaghetti soon. Adastra. I was enamored with this game when it first came out. And when the updates came out, I was so fucking like excited to play it. And then as soon as it was done, I was like, huh. All right, what's next? Like, I don't know. For some reason, the post-mortem on this game, I am just so uninterested in it now. And I cannot place why. Maybe it's just because the sequels have been kind of stop-start. Maybe that's it. I don't know. But like... And even and there's also the idea that there is a huge chunk in the game where it feels like they just time skipped a huge chunk, and they're addressing it with Interia, but like, which the name literally sounds like interim, like in the meantime, in the part where we skipped, this happened. So like, this could literally just be a DLC where they just shove it in. But I don't know. But yeah, like for a game that I was so excited for, I had to really grow for that art style. When I first saw that art style, I was like, "Oh my God." But eventually I grew to tolerate it. And I was kind of okay with it. It grew to be cute, but it's still not good. Anyway, we already talked about Homecoming Morinatsu Revisited, so hey mouse, can you wake up? Thank you. Wolfstar Sins in Paradise. Oh my God, it's been that long. Yeah, because I did this whole like new visual novel 3 in a fucking row thing. And all 3 of them I never played regularly. Wolfstar Sins in Paradise. This one is a rough fucking thing because I very much enjoy Paul, who's the dev, Paul Diggs. I enjoy him immensely, but the original art was very rough. I like the new art a lot better. They got a new artist, which makes it easier to see what's going on. And the writing is very... It feels like it's telling a story that's happening in 7 different places all at once. And because of how infrequently I've played it, in combination with the fact that the story is happening in 7 different places at once, and seemingly 7 different times all at once, it feels like every time I go back to play it, it's happening at a different time and place. And it would be a lot easier if I was playing it all in one sitting. I am fully willing to accept that. However, I haven't been. Because when I was originally playing it was for a stream, And so because it also frequently includes a lot of penises, because there's a strip club as a huge part of the narrative for reasons I really don't understand yet. I don't understand how bounty hunters go from bounty hunting to stripping. I'm sure that gets addressed at some point, but because of that, I had to censor it heavily during a stream, and I felt really bad doing that because it was a horrible stream to have to watch. I even made fun of it in the thumbnail. Let me show you. In the thumbnail for the first re-edit, the thumbnail is literally the plum with Wolfstar just like being shot, like scared in the foreground. Like, so yeah. And so, yeah, I'm just, I've got one more stream to re-edit from it, and then I'll be able to address it fully. I'm trying. It's just difficult to go back to, and it's difficult to play because I almost never know what the hell's going on or why. And there's a lot to do and a lot to figure out. And like Regal Tales, I almost never know why anything's happening. But it's because it's very early on. Still. After Class. This was a game that I have pegged for years as another first day at class game. However, when I did my re-edits, I realized that I was actually kind of interested in playing it again because I'm like, why the fuck is Mark being all cagey? Like, what the fuck happened to Mark? Like, I have no idea what the fuck's going on with any of the characters, and I really, really hate the coach character. Like, the fact that he was super, super, super fucking handsy with high school kids. And that was just sort of like, oh, there goes the coach again. Like, that is a literal predator. Send him to fucking mega prison. Like, super Mega Man prison. Send him to the prison under the prison. Like, Mega Man X prison. I don't know. But I'm interested in what Mark's doing, so maybe I'll go back to that. But I just remembered the coach, and I'm like, well, maybe I don't want to fucking deal with that. So, I don't know. If I have to deal with the coach, I don't want to play it. But I want to fucking see what happens with Mark. So I want to see that. It's a big fucking mix. So, if you made it to this part of the video, maybe you can tell me. Do I have to deal with the coach a lot? So, who knows. By the way, by now, the repeat episode has been out. So happy that. The Hayseed Knight is also a victim of redos and of my infrequent play having a huge impact on my ability to understand what's going on. But, yeah, I love it. The art style is incredible. The voice acting is fun. The animation is awesome. I fucking love it. And I just wish that I could get off my ass and play it more. I don't know why I don't. I think there was some weird parasocial stuff to do with it because I talked to Maxie very early on. And so I felt very weird playing it. I don't know why. There was just something weird about it. But now, also it's because I was auditioning for it. I think that had something to do with it too. But yeah, I enjoy it, so I just need to play it. Like, at the end of the day, that's just the fucking, that's the it of it. I enjoy it, so why am I not playing it? That's really just it. I'm literally trying to think. Why don't I play it? I mean, for a while, there was development hell, but that's over now. Yeah. There's always the life circumstances, like right now. And there's always the overarching themes of having other stuff that's more pressing. a new game coming out that I'm more interested in, or an existing game that I've been playing has an update or stuff like that preclude me from going back into the library to play stuff from my past. That seems to be it. I don't know. There's also just existing like auras of that exist on some games that I haven't played in a while, that with a casual think back preclude me from playing that. Again, there's that word again. I don't know the definition strictly, so I shouldn't use the word. Doki Doki Literature Club with that great playlist thumbnail. Can we please? Oh, it's because that video isn't out yet. Yeah, I've already done the first episode, but it isn't out yet, so they're using a bad one. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of episodes of this. We've already done the whole game, but the first stream was 10 hours, the second stream was 5 hours, and the third one's 3 hours. So, yeah, there's going to be a lot. So, sorry about that if you don't care about it, but also if you don't, whatever. Familiar Travels, I intend to come back to that. That's why it has its own playlist, but also I don't know when, and I really don't remember much about it. So I'm sorry about that. Sorry about that. Like, genuinely, I'm not sure why I haven't gone back to that one yet. I don't remember much about it. Like, I don't have anything to say. Ooh, that one's rough. Not the game, that explanation. Santa Lucia. The thing I remember most about it is, I think the thing I remember about it was, isn't there like an Australian character? Is that a thing? Was there a dog? Yeah, that dog. I can't do an Australian accent. Yeah, I remember that. They took that thumbnail down for some reason. I don't know what that was about. And I, for some reason, feel the need to say Santa Lucia like that. And it got lumped in the, I don't feel like playing another first day at a new school game. I got enough of those right now. Eventually, like every once in a while, I get the itch to play light novels, but it's just sometimes I fucking don't. And usually when I do, I've got tennis ace and extracurricular activities in front of my face, and a bunch of people asking me to play those games. So I'm sorry. I only have so much time. The Smoke Room. Oh my god. The first Echo prequel got teased heavily, and I was so unfair to this in the original, where I'm like, why isn't it doing the thing it never was trying to do in the first place? But, now that I know what it actually is trying to do, it's very interesting. And when I think about the Smoke Room, the main thing that comes to my mind is how it's really just like, I'm struggling here because, not because I'm trying to like come up with something to say, but because I want to make sure I say this properly. It's almost not an Echo game. If you think about it, like, it's based in Echo. It's about people in Echo. It's about someone trying to leave Echo. It's about how Echo affects people. It is an Echo game. But the reason I say it's almost not an Echo game is because in the sense that it is so radically different from what Echo, the original game, is. That is what I mean. It is not what Echo was trying to do. You see, what I mean by in the traditional sense of, like, it's not a prequel or a sequel in the sense that Resident Evil does prequels and sequels, where, you can recognize a theme, and it basically does the same kind of shtick. Or Silent Hill, you know, someone's going to show up in the town, there's going to be a fog, you fight some monsters, and there's going to yada yada. The Smoke Room, it's the same town, but it's way fucking different in terms of themes, in terms of goals, in terms of this, that, and the other. Like, the only thing that's the same is the town. But it's a radically different time period. The goals are radically different. The themes are different. The storytelling modes are different. The characters are different. The overarching themes, like, it's so different. And that's why, like, they say it's a prequel, but it's more like a spiritual prequel. They're not trying to tell, like, Echo 0.5. It's the Smoke Room. A story in Echo, but it's not the Echo prequel. It's its own fucking game. And that's what I like about it. You could play it by itself without knowing Echo existed. You could conceivably play it first, and then find out that Echo, the game, Echo, existed, and play that next. And then that would be its own whole thing. I wonder what that would be like. To play Echo after playing the Smoke Room. Play Echo for the first time after the Smoke Room. And then play Arches, not knowing that existed. Because all the connections would be super loose. You wouldn't know. You wouldn't know. I mean, like if you could somehow ignore the fact that they were all from the same fucking itch page, and there's no way to ignore the fact that the title of Echo is Echo, and that the Smoke Room is obviously in the town of Echo. So I don't know how you could do it, but if by playing Echo you could figure out that it had ties to the Smoke Room, I don't know. I'm not really talking about the Smoke Room. I'm trying to cut the rambling down. The point is, the Smoke Room is so much its own thing, and I enjoy it so much. The fact that its biggest strength among a plethora of strength is the strength of its characters. You want to see these characters succeed. And in a meta sense, you know they kind of don't. But you don't know that for sure because, again, in a meta sense, you don't know what timeline leads to whatever, but you're not supposed to think about that because you're just playing a fucking game. At the end of the day, the only thing I would change about it is I would brighten up the fucking logo. I hate having to do that every time I make an episode because the logo is so dark that you can't read it on a fucking thumbnail. That's the only thing. Next one is Katawa Shujo. I'm sorry, I'm not an expert. As much as I tried to pretend to be in my early cringier days. I'm still cringy, but not as much as I was. God, I'm running out of steam. This was a game recommended to me by multiple people in my personal life, and clearly not by my audience, by the fact that almost none of them watched the series. I want to get back to this game because I think I unfairly just stopped playing it because I came across a character that was like, no, you're not going to do this thing that's obviously bad for you, you fuck. And I was like, stop telling me what to do. And then I was like, oh, that's literally just me. Oh, man. But no, it's an interesting take on the dating sim aspect, placing us with a chronic medical condition in a school for people with chronic medical conditions. That's just an interesting fucking twist, and I like it. So, that's interesting. Socially Awkward, only played it once, and this thumbnail's gotten me in more trouble with YouTube than anything, which sucks. The thing I love most about Socially Awkward is the little art emotions in the corner. So expressive, so fucking lovely. But the rest of it, it's another first day at a new school story. But I need to get to the meat of these stories before I can judge them. It's just, quite frankly, as many people have pointed out in their lengthy complaints about me and what I do, I try to tackle too many of these games, and I never wind up finishing any of them. So before I can play more socially awkward, I need to finish some shit. So eventually, it'll happen. Just don't know when. Speaking of eventually it'll happen, Password. I didn't know you're supposed to get the bad endings first. Because I got a bad ending, as I'm supposed to, and I got demoralized and stopped playing. Which is not what you're supposed to do. Password. An art style that I don't like, but you gotta let it grow on you. And it's interesting premise. Like, as soon as I started to get sucked into it, I got a bad ending out of nowhere for something that I could not have possibly known. And so I just gotta try it again. And I gotta play it the way I'm supposed to play it, which kind of irks me, but okay. Gotta play a game based on its own rules, which is literally how games work. It's fair, and that's fine, and it's a well-beloved game, and with good reason. It's good. It's a good game. It deserves another try. Kingsguard. I don't know if it's because I was just having a manic episode or what, but I had so much fun playing this game. Like, I just enjoyed it. And I'm almost worried to play it again and at risk of not having as much fun. I don't know what the fuck happened, but I just really enjoyed it. But I have only played it twice with one playthrough, so I don't know. So, with one sitting. So, who knows? I want to play it again. We're getting close to the end. Because I'm seeing all the character route ones. Wicked Willow, very fun premise, made by one of the people behind The Pirate's Fate. Unfortunately, it has humans, so a lot of my following won't watch it just on spec, which God damn it, I wish y'all wouldn't do that. After 5 years, can you give me a little bit of fucking credit? Just give me credit that just because it doesn't fit your fucking furry needs, that I can still pick a good one. Please. Some of you do, and largely it's going to be the same people that are watching this video at this point still. So if you're hearing this, you don't need to hear that disclaimer, and the ones who do aren't watching this, so I guess probably didn't need to say that, but I guess that frustration being vocalized is still empowering to me because I haven't said it quite like that yet, so yeah. But no, Wicked Willow, I like the premise. It's an interesting premise, and I like the execution. I don't want to play more of it, but unfortunately it came around at a time when I was not as healthy a relationship with low views and my empowerment to just play what I want to play. Temptation's Ballad, what more can I say? It's my current favorite visual novel. I fucking love it. It's a fucking party, but it still grips you emotionally. It's still interesting. It's still fun. It's still funny. It's still emotional. It does everything. God damn it. I love everything about it. Everything about it. I wish the logo was more memorable. I had to make my own, but whatever. Literally, that's it. That's it, man. I fucking love it. And if we can't have a repeat update on the 5-year anniversary of my first episode of Repeat, then I will still espouse the greatness of Temptation's Ballad on that day. That is fine. Endless Bounty is almost there, but no, that's a scroller. Kamiya, interesting follow-up, considering it does not follow either of the main characters from the previous game. It's kind of trying to do an Arches thing, telling an adjacent sequel. It does involve Amicus, but Amicus is not the protagonist. And it does tell a character. It tells a story of a character that was impacted by events of the first game. So I am interested. I'm interested more so in Kamiya than I am of Interia. Quite frankly, I'm more interested in seeing what happens in Kamiya than in anything to do with the original game. So that's just my opinion. I know I'm in the minority on that one. So yeah, that's all I really got to say on that one. This might be is this the last one? We got 922, only one episode on it thus far. Interesting art direction, even like you can see from this scene with the hallway. It's again another first episode at a new school, but just in the first episode alone, you saw a lot of intriguing, like what the fuck's going on here. Very interesting art style, and I want to see where it's going, because even if it doesn't explore all of the interesting art teases, even if it doesn't explore all the interesting plot teases, I should say, it's going to be interesting to watch just because of the art style alone. So who knows? Who the fuck knows? These are all character routes. Route 65 is technically a prequel, so I guess it gets its own thing. It has its own sprites, and I like it. It's cool. It gets its own fucking review. Cool. Adds its own little spice to the thing, and it does get brought up later in Jenna's route near the end. I don't know. It does add to the story. I think that's the biggest compliment that a prequel can add. It's the most direct prequel we've had. So, good job. I'm glad it exists. Well executed. I guess Benefits also counts as a prequel, but yeah. I just sort of included that as an episode because it's really just an episode, isn't it? Retrace? No, that's the RPG Maker. Oh, London's Aesop. Yeah, there's more shit. What am I talking about? Jesus. London's Aesop. That it's still early days on that. Interesting premise. I don't like the teeth on the main hyena character. I really don't. But putting such a unique word in a title, obviously it's right next to Interia, but it's also that title includes Adastra, which has become a name in the fandom already, so it's kind of a easy risk to take on that game. But London's Aesop for a debut visual novel, interesting risk. But yeah, it has promise as a premise. Hey, Spoofy, how you doing? Jesus. Thank you. I appreciate you, but not right now. Thank you. I would say I haven't played it enough to give it an accurate judgment. Interesting premise. Art is a little off-putting with the teeth, but I could definitely see it being a cool game going forward. I'm probably going to let it develop a little bit further before I go back to it, maybe. I don't know. Lord knows. I say that for years sometimes before going back to stuff, almost never. I don't know. I'm sorry. Interia, I've kind of already said, is I'm way more interested in Kamiya, and they have kind of the new sprites, I think. It's weird. It's just sort of DLC for Adastra when they just sort of raced to the finish. to get to the finale of the game. And they're stalling while they rework Kamia. I'm not really interested in it, but okay. They know what their fans want. The Adastra simps, they'll take anything. Arches is pissing me off, man. I love the CGs and Arches. So goddamn expressive. Art style is phenomenal. Way more cartoony sprite style, which is an interesting choice for a very serious series. But they've approached the town of Echo in a different way, which is interesting. Way more targeted. And it's still early days, so we have yet to see how they fully explore that. They have also introduced the idea of a spiritual medium to it all, which kind of was there with Flynn's aunt, but we never really met her, so we don't really know all of that. But kind of, I don't know. Me personally, I feel it's kind of, I don't know. It kind of feels a little cheap, if I'm going to be 100% honest with you. But, I'm not. The main thing that fucks me up is that the characters are just kind of tools. Like, I don't know. Artie is just an antagonist. He comes in, purposefully fucks things up, and just does everything wrong on purpose with bad reasoning, and just, I don't know. It's almost every predicament they've had has been artificially stumbled into in a very easily preventable way. They could have just left so easily. I don't know. It's hard for me to, like, at least with the original game of Echo, they had so many reasons to stay there. There was Chase's school project. There was getting to hang out with friends. There was TJ wanting to fucking hike. I don't know. Leo already lived there, so he was going to stay there. Flynn lived there. Carl lived there. And then Carl fucking vanished. So they had to find him. That was a pressing fucking thing. They couldn't just up and leave for that, due to that. So, like, I don't know. Arches is not starting off good for me right now. Next step, light novel that I feel, it's an accompaniment to a comic that would, I feel, be a good accompaniment if I had, like IDEKA, if I had read the comic, but that's fine. By itself, it was a little touching moment that I feel was a little melodramatic, but that's okay. That's not bad. Overall, decent execution. I'm glad that I saw it on TikTok. I'm not glad that I saw it on TikTok, but I'm glad that I saw it. And I'm glad that I was on TikTok. I'm glad that TikTok showed it to me. I'm glad that it was shown to me incidentally, irregardless of the fact that it was on TikTok. There we go. Not It. Spooky Halloween game. I want to get back to this game. The art style is charming, and it's like kind of lighthearted, but also like, is it? And unfortunately, I've only played it the one time, but I want to see more. It just looks like it could be a fun, interesting time. I just haven't played enough of it to see. And then you got Burrows, which has been the fucking breakout goddamn star. Holy shit. Like, seriously, if the Golden Steves tells you anything, like, this game came out polished from the get-go, telling a gripping story from the get-go, with a unique presentation style, with unique characters, with unique storytelling mode, with unique themes. The art style is gripping, the motions, the fucking everything. It tells you from the beginning of it, just from the start, is like, this is different. And you're gonna like this shit. This is different and this is new, and you're not gonna be able to stop looking at this shit until we are telling you that we don't have enough to, the update's over, but just wait until we have more for you. Like, oh my god. This is such a fucking interesting story. God damn. So yeah, no, fucking Burroughs has all the ingredients to be the next big thing. I would not be surprised if Burroughs was not, like, the next fucking Echo. Like, or the next fucking, like, the next big fucking tentpole of the fucking visual novel sphere. I'm serious. It has all the ingredients to be the biggest thing. And the last one that I managed to sneak in before the re-edit thing was Liar, which did very well, has been very well received, and is, has a very interesting art style. The character interactions are very fun. The character designs are very interesting. I haven't played it but the once, but I want to see more. I really like it so far. So yeah, those are the visual novels that I have played in my 5 years, with one exception. Should we address it? I mean, it's at the end, so the only people who have gotten to this point are the people who are very interested. So let's just say this. I said it in my 5 best and 5 worst thing, so I can say this quite quickly. Me and Kale have talked, and we're not making a big deal out of it, but we have agreed to disagree on a series of philosophical disagreements about the very base of what happened, but we do both agree that it fucking sucked ass what happened, that it was way blown out of proportion what happened, that it should not have happened the way it did, that neither of us wanted anything close to what happened to have happened, that neither of us wanted any harm to happen to the other, either literally or in terms of reputation or in terms of standing on our individual modes of media or anything like that, and that it was mostly perpetuated by people who are either just like to see people torn down or are in it for their own personal gain. The main thing was with Far Beyond the World is what I'm talking about. I did not like the writing. I like the art. Positive things here. I thought the backgrounds were nice. I thought the sprites were nice. Better than Adastra. If we want to talk about some of the meta complaints that people have had, the accusations of tracing, I don't fucking care. Literally, that's bones for other people to pick. There's, stuff people say about, this post came out to prove that this was earlier, but I don't give a shit. That's other people's arguments to make. I'm not some internet sleuth. I'm not MatPat. I'm not Legal Eagle. I'm not any of those people. That's not my arena. I'm here to play a game, make some silly voices, read lines poorly, and then shit it out onto the internet for people to tell me that they'd rather me play Tennis Ace. That is what I do. That's it. That's all I do. That's it. All right? So when it came to all the rando shit, like people saying that I called Kale racist, what I objected to was the fact that he kept referring to the character as the Black Wolf. I objected to the fact that he kept calling him the Black Wolf instead of coming up with more creative ways to use adjectives, more descriptive things. Just use another fucking adjective. That was it. that was it. That was my main objection. I have not pre-prepared this part, and when I'm talking about subjects like this, it would probably be best if I did, but I never do, and that is generally where these problems come from, or at least where they start, and then they get blown out of proportion, like the main problem that this whole thing came from. I never intend for any of my statements about visual novels, about art pieces, about writing, about works to be statements about people who produce them. This is the philosophical difference between me and Kale. That is our philosophical difference. We have discussed it, and I briefly discussed it on All of the Above, my former podcast. I have also taken down that episode because these were being used to stoke the flames, and it's just not fucking useful. They were being used to keep things going. It was just not... It's I don't fucking want that. It's not helpful. So, by the way, I can just put up for the cam because I'm not talking about anything that was on the screen anymore. He said to me that he believes that for someone to produce a work of art, and I apologize because I am paraphrasing him, he could probably speak to this better. For someone to produce a work of art, it comes from within them. They produce it. It comes from an idea that came from within them. Therefore, a small part of them, it doesn't represent them, but it comes from them, so it is a part of them. Therefore, if you're criticizing their art, you're criticizing a part of them. I disagree. I believe there is a separation between the art and the artist. So when I said that the art is bad, I said he took artist is bad. And when I harped on he's hammering on Black Wolf, that's where he took it. So that's the philosophical difference. We agreed to disagree on it. It's not my place to try to convince him of this, that he's wrong on it. It's not his place to try to convince me that I'm wrong on it. We've discussed it. We agree that we disagree. And we have no interest in revisiting it. We have no interest in each other's followings trying to defend the other or trying to attack the other. We don't want that. Both of us are just here trying to make something that we like. For me, it's videos. For him, it's a visual novel. We're just trying to enjoy ourselves, make a thing we like, and that's it. For me, my thoughts on Far Beyond the World are this. I like the art. I don't like the writing. I think the plot is uninspired and lazy. That is my thought on the art, with the huge disclaimer that I have no intention to speak about the artist when I say that. Now, I know that those who do not believe in a separation between the art and the artist will think that I am saying that about the artist. Know that my intention is not to do that. My belief of the artist does not reflect in those statements. That is it. I'm not going to be returning to Far Beyond the World at all. It is for everyone's benefit. There are people who will play it and who enjoy it. Those are the people you should watch if you enjoy the game. The people who enjoy it, the people who love it. You probably shouldn't watch it if they're sycophantic, who will just enjoy it no matter what. And I don't say that just about Far Beyond the World. If you're watching someone who just enjoys something blindly, that's just not helpful. I feel it's helpful if you can play something enjoy it when it's good, criticize it when it's not good. And that goes back to the roots of why we're here today. The 5-year anniversary of Repeat. I have said many times that Repeat has problems. Because it does. Random sex scenes out of nowhere, sprites that were not good, they're getting fixed now, writing that was cringe. It's the beginning of the, I'll say it this time because I'm talking about it objectively, the whelp meme thing. My resistance to saying that word. It's also the beginning of the prolly thing. That originated from this game because they would say it all the fucking time. Prolly is more of a extracurricular activities things, but whelp definitely started from Repeat. Wow, I literally got a fucking like wavy vision thing just from saying it. But so Repeat definitely has its problems, and it would not be helpful at all to Shirokoi or to any of the people who like to see Repeat improve if all I did while playing that game is say that it was the best game ever and all this other stuff. And that's not what Shirokoi would want either. I've talked to him. He appreciates when I nicely say that this and such line didn't work. This was a typo. This doesn't make sense. Now, if I sat there and was like, fucking, what the fuck? This sucks, stupid, shoot yourself. Like, that doesn't help anybody. And sometimes when I get far too critical, I start to lean a little too much into that. And I've had problems with that in the past. It's been 5 years. Fair to say that I've made a couple mistakes. And I hope to make fewer in the next 5. God, am I going to really do this for 5 more years? I guess we'll see. But anyway, thank you all very much for watching me for 5 years. If you've been here for the full 5, or whether you've only been here for a day, or if this is your first video, Christ, you have commitment. I've been recording for 1 hour and 46 minutes, for fuck's sake. So congratulations on your commitment to the bit. Thank you for watching, however long you have. I appreciate you. Spoofy appreciates you. Appreciates you. Thank you very much. Which series would you like to come back the most? Out of the ones that... right now, all of them are on pause while I'm doing this re-edit thing. I want to get them done. They're very much necessary now. After doing them, realizing how bad they are... Christ, they're hard to watch. But I know that they're frustrating when you're not getting anything new. A lot of you already seen them before. So I'm sorry. But that's where my priorities are, and that's pretty much all that mentally and physically I can handle right now. But yeah. Thank y'all for being here. Let me know what series you'd like to come back the most, in addition to all the other questions I asked during this video, which was, if I remember correctly, what's the deal with Blackgate? Like, what if I came back to Blackgate now, would that be good or bad? And oh fuck, what was the second question? That's your test. If you actually watch the video, you'll know what the second question was. I don't remember it. That's actually why. Anyway, actual wrap up. Thank you all for watching. I'll talk to you all again soon. Thank you for 5 years. It's been an unforgettable ride. I've had an actual audience for 5 years. After 2003 is almost 20 years ago. 19 years of making videos. I've had 5 years of actual people caring about it. That means 14 years of no one giving a shit. Okay. Bye, everyone.